The US has announced that they will be closing the US consulate in Peshawar. US said that this decision has been taken for the safety of US diplomats in Pakistan and also for resource management. Now, what's pertinent to note here is that this development, it's come in the midst of the US-Iran war, where as per optics, Pakistan emerges as a close US friend, helping in the negotiations. Is that so really? Here are some facts that suggest plummeting US trust on Pakistan, even in peak diplomatic gesturing. On the 1st of March, after the death of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, US consulate in Karachi, it was brutally vandalized by a violent mob, and US security personnel opened fire in their own defense. Over 20 people died as per reports. One day after this Karachi incident, the US consulate in Lahore came under attack, and this was set on fire, allegedly even attacked with crude bombs. Days after this, the US State Department reinforced a level 3 advisory for Pakistan, asking Americans to reconsider travel, warning citizens against terrorism, kidnappings and civil unrest. Then let's come to Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. These are 2 out of total 4 provinces in Pakistan where US has classified them as level 4, meaning do not travel. And this is due to extreme security risks. Now, when Pakistan is not even trustworthy, when Washington can't trust Pakistan even for the safety of US diplomats, one begs to ask, is there any trust at all? Or does Pakistan just serve as a mouthpiece, requesting US to back off from Iran in the name of negotiations? I'm Shivan, Chanana. This is Game Plan. Joining me on Game Plan to discuss this further is Dr. Kartha, my guest, former director of the National Security Council Secretariat. Dr. Kartha, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for making time. Closure of this consulate in the midst of ongoing negotiations. What does it really say? Give us your perspective.
Well, it's great to be with you all again. Your shows are always detailed. In this instance, the most obvious thing, I mean, let's not go for too much conspiracy theories. One is the fact that the US is least interested in Afghanistan right now. They don't want to know much about it. They're not. But the trouble is, if I were part of the CIA, for example, I would say don't close that. Because Peshawar is not just about Afghanistan. It is a hub of terrorist groups. It's a hub of Pakistani intelligence activity. It's a hub of a drug trade, human smuggling, a lot of things, arms smuggling. My God, the Pakistan gun bazaar is just down the road from there. So that doesn't apply only to Afghanistan. That applies across the board. So if I were part of the mission there, I would say, for heaven's sake, don't close this. Number 2 is, however, what you just said, the costs of keeping that consulate safe is going to be huge. Because remember, if terrorists wants to attack, they will attack no matter what. I mean, you're talking of huge trucks filled with explosive and they attack, that's a persistent danger. But here's an interesting thing. By and large, neither the TTP nor the Baloch have ever attacked the US. Okay, so we are talking about these tribal areas. Nobody in these tribal areas have seen fit to attack the US officers, journalists. I mean, journalists go there, they go inside. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of them recently who went there and reported, no problem. The problem seems to be in mainland Pakistan. For example, like you said, the attack on the consulate in Karachi, in Lahore. How could Pakistan not anticipate that? Given that it occurred just days after the assassination of Ayatollah Khamenei. So somewhere the state itself, it just didn't react. I can't believe it. It's not something like us. We immediately increased, the moment Khamenei died, we increased safety precautions, we increased everything across for US consulates and embassies here. Luckily, of course, nothing much happened. Nothing happened. So that is number 2. Number 3 is, however, I'm just wondering if it is possible. Now, this I'm going a little out, putting my head on the block here. A consulate closes on the basis of intelligence reports from the host country. So if Pakistan has told them, look, there's going to be an attack, we can't guarantee your safety, then they will probably close. But remember, this is the consulate which survived decades of the Afghan jihad. When I would have thought you would have been at maximum vulnerability at that point of time. Because they were supporting a bunch of people against Afghanistan. So they didn't close then, but they're closing now. So if indeed it is the case that Pakistan gave them a tip-off that you might be under serious threat, I'm wondering why the Pakistanis did that at all. Because they've restarted their operations into Afghanistan. And Peshawar, again, is a very, very critical point in that operational line, you know. So
And
that is
just talking about Peshawar, ma'am, I'll just quickly come there. Just for the sake, quick research tells me that in April of 2010, that was when there was an attack which took place on the US consulate in Peshawar. This was using car bombs, and it was carried out by the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. And as you were mentioning, the Afghanistan angle, of course, a lot of the TTP bases were coming in from there as well. But this place has come under attack in the past. But you bring a very important point here, that it would in all likelihood come from some intelligence aspect which would come from Pakistan, suggesting that they cannot assure the safety of this consulate anymore. Just bring it to Islamabad, and from there they can continue to coordinate among all regions, whether it's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or of course Peshawar being there. Now, I wanted to take this a little further from there. When you hear the US defense minister, the Pakistani defense minister, pardon me, saying that US has treated us worse than toilet paper. He's saying this in a national assembly. It made headlines across the world. They are not, at least this defense minister is not at all shying away from how Pakistan has been treated. Bring that into today's scenario where Pakistan is helming these negotiations. Do you feel they have any credibility when this is the trust level in terms of how they are trying to negotiate between US and Iran?
That's a very good point. Yeah. If I was within the US establishment, I wouldn't trust Pakistan an inch. They have, as we said now, they said 6 roads into Iran, and Trump seems to be okay with that. Iranis themselves are saying we don't trust the Pakistanis. They tell us one thing, they tell the US something else. So for Pakistan, it is I, me, myself. And in I, it is the Pakistan army which has to benefit. In this case, when they say they use Pakistan as toilet paper, I'm sure they use the paper they use as US dollars. Because the amount of money they got, right? During the jihad, they got their whole budget ran on US US money, not just aid in terms of the reimbursements. In this case, what they would love to have is the US back in the country fighting in some way dependent on them, where they start getting money to replenish their, first and foremost, replenish their military. And which they've been doing steadily. So that is their end objective. In this, we have to see where does this fit in, this Peshawar closure. I'm very suspicious as to what is going on there. If there is, there's a lot of things going on. They've talked about this whole thing that Al-Qaeda is back in Afghanistan, working with Taliban, which is completely untrue. It is manufactured by the Pakistanis. They will manufacture it at 4 different points and then insert it into the UN report. So this is how they work. So they are building up towards something. I don't know what it is. But if I were the US, I would watch out for this particular area and not leave.
No, that's an important point. I mean, in terms of intelligence, if there is a high-risk area, you would want to maintain your position there to keep a closer eye on things. And of course, Afghanistan, as of now, it may not seem like a threat, but there has been a major history where Pakistan has always come in handy. Even after the 2001 attacks, after 9/11, Pakistan gave help to the US in terms of their attack and their fight against terrorism. And of course, that did not go down well with Afghanistan. There were decades of issues after that Pakistan has also bared. They seem to suggest that they are the ones who are bearing the brunt of terrorism. And of course, the world knows otherwise. But thank you so much, Dr. Tara Kartha, for joining me here on Game Plan. Always a pleasure speaking with you. There will be more to discuss. Would look forward to discussing with you again.
Thank you.